Now we're going for the granddaddy of them all. One of the greatest stories in the history of all dirt racing. And it does not have to do with a super late model. So one of the greatest stories in the history of dirt racing does not have to do with a dirt super late model. It has to do with the All-Tel 100 Championship in Batesville, Arkansas. This race is going to pay $100,000 to win for modifieds. And in America, all the racers, I mean, there's 340 cars entered. And I'm going to let you tell the story now. You receive a phone call from Scott Bloomquist. Tell us where this goes.
Well, I'll take, when Scott come from the West Coast going east.
Yeah.
He stopped my race car shop was on the side of a small street. He pulled up out front in an old truck and a trailer. I think it had a house trailer axle. It just looked like it's barely hanging together. And he stopped and told me he was Scott Bloomquist. And I said, who? And he told me, and repeated, so I make sure I had the name right. He said, Scott Bloomquist, I'm from California. I'm going east. I'll find a place I can stop and somebody will let me race out of their shop. I'll pay rent. I just need a place to stop. And so he said, I stopped at Fort Smith and talked to Donnie Crashberg, Southwest Speed, but he didn't have room for me. Tommy Lasher was running his car at the time, and you're my next stop. So I had just had Moyer a couple of years, and I had him in the back shop. I didn't really have no room for him, and so I told him, I said, I like to do something, Scott. And I think so. Then he goes on east, get over around Newport Atomic Speedway. And he started off over in a stock stub car running with them late models. When NHRA come to town, I don't remember if he qualified second or third, but he did run fourth in that 100-lap feature, with stock stuff. So after that, Masterbuilt takes it. And that rest of it's history.
When Scott Bloomquist came from the West, he was out there in California, and they said he was a hippie. He had the long hair. He liked the beach atmosphere. He liked the look of these rock and roll people. When he rolled up to your place years ago, did he look like a hippie? Did he have all that long hair?
He did, but yeah, that's what he had. It was just like you're talking about. That would have been in 1982 or 83, somewhere right around there.
Yeah, okay. Let's go to the All-Tel 100. Bloomquist calls you.
He called me about 3 weeks. Well, start off with, he'll be back up here. Mooney, when he got ready to do that, he told me he's going to pay $100,000 win, and he's going to cut your entry off at $400.
Whoa.
And I said, I don't know if you can get that many, Mooney, because I said, when are you going to run it? He said, May or June. I said, well, IMCA is going to already start their season. You're not going to get their car. They'll come for $100,000. Well, he had 403 cars entered. 3 of them was NASCAR. Kenny Schrader, Bill Elliott, and Dave Blaney, and maybe one more. So he had over 300 cars, because them that runs IMCA, they didn't come. They went ahead and run the weekly show, get points for the end of the year. But they had 300 and something cars. And what Mooney did, he run each night. He qualified. Jeff Floyd actually worked for me at the time. He set quick time. Scott was second, and Jeff Taylor was third. So Mooney had 15 heat races. He takes the winner only that goes to the A feature first night. And then he runs 15 Bs and takes the winner only. They go in behind those. Okay, so when they take off, Bloomquist ended up running 7th. Now I'm tickled to death because I knew he
in the A main that night.
A main that night, he runs 7th. He gets over to pits. I said, well, where'd the show, Scott? No, not show. I threw it away. I said, do what? I said, Scott, there's still over 300 cars here, and we got 7 in. Well, he didn't say he couldn't win it. He said, I'm going to start 19th. He didn't say he couldn't win it from there. His word was, it'll be harder to win it from there. He was planning on winning the race, but he was going to get close to the front. So the next night he comes out there, and he wins a feature. So now he's going to start middle row. Mooney's going to start 33 cars, 3 wide, 11 deep. He's going to start 33 cars. So Scott's in the middle. And so we come back out there for the feature day, and 3 or 4 cars parked around. He went there and talked to that one kid. He said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll buy you 4 brand new tires if you give me those 4 tires right there. Because it's season, that's what he wanted. So
hold on, Larry. you're using dirt terminology. These people don't understand this. You're saying that Scott Bloomquist looked at some competitor and said, "Give me your 4 used tires, and I'll give you 4 new ones."
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay.
anyway, he brings them over and he puts them on a rotisserie. He's talking to me while he's doing this, you know. I said, Scott, and that's before Mooney put dirt on the track, and they've been having trouble having flats out there. And he's done ground an 1/8 inch off of these tires, and he was telling me he was doing it for rotation weight and unsprung weight. And he said rotation weight is more important than unsprung weight. And he's telling me all this stuff, you know. And we got all lined up ready to run that race. I told my bunch, I said, we better get a bunch of tires ready, because we're going to have a lot of pit stops.
Was the pit area watching Scott grind these tires crazily?
Yeah. And you know, there's all kinds of rumor. You could hear any kind of story you wanted to, probably about that deal. They thought he lost his mind, you know. Anyway, when they started the race, he lapped all the way up to 4th.
Oh my God. Okay, so right now, okay, this was May 8th, 2004. Charlie Marlowe, Charlie, we want to drop that picture in right now. All right. Charlie is putting this picture in right now. So here you are, Larry. You're to the left. You're like me. Your hair's darker. Look at this young Scott Bloomquist to the right. He is so happy. The trophy's taller than him. And there it is. All-Tel Championship, 100,000 to win. There was his wife at the time. What do you remember? Where were you when you all won this $100,000? It was your car. Tell me where you were. How did you get to victory lane?
I was on the infield. That's where we pitted on the infield. We need to, so I was already out there and everything. But what was funny about, you know, when he's grinding them tires, you know, I said something to him. I said, Scott, they're bad about having a flat here. He said, Shaw, have a little faith. I know what I'm doing. I said, okay. So in victory lane, that's the first thing he told me. He said, I told you, Shaw, to trust me. I said, I did.
You prepare a car for him. Now, was this your car and your motor?
Yeah, everything was ours.
Did you get any of the $100,000?
No, I didn't get none. We sold cars, but I didn't get no money.
Hey,
it's kind of like when Moore won the Dirt Track World Championship. We sold 246 cars that year, but I didn't get another 40,000.
Listen up, children. Listen up, children. That right there is why the man you're looking at, the great Larry Shaw, is a genius. He supplies Scott Bloomquist a car and everything. And how many cars do you think you sold after Bloomquist won the 100,000?
I don't know. It was a lot. We had a lot on order.
You know, Scott Bloomquist, we just lost him. He passed away in a horrible plane wreck. And it has shocked the dirt racing community. What, besides Bloomquist winning that 100,000 to win and shocking the modified world, I believe at that time we really knew how great he was, because he comes out of a super late model, goes into a mod, immediately wins 100,000. What do you remember about him? Do you think he was different? A lot of people say he was weird. What do you remember about Bloomquist in your dealings with him?
I think he was just so smart that he was smarter than the rest of us, and maybe we didn't know how to take some of that stuff on he was talking about, you know. And then you got Randy Sweet, you know, that was right there on the same deal. And I'll come back to Randy a little bit. I'll talk to you about the car we built for Moyer in '97. But man, Scott was just, you talk to him and you think he's out there, but come find out it worked.
Yeah, because he'd go to victory lane. That's how he'd prove it, right?
Yeah, I talked to Jeff Purvis one day last week, and we was visiting about that. And, you know, first time Bloomquist went to Eldora, he passed Purvis and won the race. So, I mean, he never had been there before in his life, and he won the World 100, you know.